This is my take.
Williams, and we welcome you to another episode or series of Caring for the Caregivers, brought to you by TAAN TV, the African American Network. And I'm delighted to be here again in continuing as we delve into the important area of caring for our loved ones, that whole realm that impacts on our lives. And the chances are that we'll all be involved in some way or another in supporting one another as we move through life. We are delighted and honored today to have Dr. Doshie Piper with us. And we're going to allow Doshie Piper to tell us a little bit about her before we get into the actual nuts and bolts of the purpose of our interview here with TAAN TV. Dr. Doshie Piper, welcome to TAAN.
Thank you.
We are certainly delighted. We're always delighted to interview people who are involved in the process of caring for loved ones. And I'm an old military man, so sometimes you'll hear military terms like, you are in fact a super trooper.
Okay.
There's no question about it. And we are hoping that the things that you can share with the viewing audience will give them an opportunity to perhaps see themselves someplace in the realm of their role in caring for loved ones. So, Dr. Piper, tell us a little bit about you.
I am an associate professor of criminal justice at the University of the Incarnate Word. I serve as the current MLK Commission Chair for the City of San Antonio, and I am the Restorative Justice Coordinator at Texas Organizing Project.
Oh, wow. You're a very busy lady.
I am.
Well, it sounds to me that you bring a lot of experience, not only organizational. In terms of your visit here today, we understand that you are presently taking care of some loved ones.
Correct.
And
yes.
Could you give us sort of a summary and outline of with regard to those that you're taking care of?
Yeah, so both my mother and her sister live with me, and I would like to say, think of it as we take care of each other.
Oh, yeah, right.
So back in like the late 2000s, early 2010s, my mother had an accident where she fell out the bed and fractured her C4 and C5 vertebrae. So she was in a halo for 6 to 9 months. Wow. At that time, she still lived in her home in Houston, and I was the only child that wasn't married or didn't have children.
Oh, okay.
So my siblings encouraged me to go home and take care of my mother. I had just started my PhD program at the University of Cincinnati.
Oh, my goodness.
So it took a while for me to apply to programs in Houston or around Houston and get into another PhD program. But I did all of that and relocated back to Houston. She healed, got well. She still doesn't have like full range of motion in her neck, so she has to turn her body to make turns. Yes.
Yeah.
So driving can be difficult when she in blind spots that she can't see. So she typically likes to have a passenger with her, but she still drives. And that's a big help because she does help me take care of my daughter. So that was then, I completed my PhD program and relocated here so that was in 2012, 2013. And around that time, like all of the children were out of the home. And I don't, now that I look back, my mother has never lived alone.
There's always somebody around.
It's
right?
always been someone she was at home. She had 5 siblings, and then she went to college and she had roommates. And when she graduated, my aunts moved to St. Louis because she stayed in the St. Louis area.
Oh.
And then she met my father, and they moved in together and started having children. And he had already had children from previous marriages, so she had children
Kind of combined
in the
family.
home. Yes.
Yeah.
And and then like we grew up, but we were still like in and out of the home.
Yes.
And she was raising my youngest sister's children with her. But there were times where she was absent, my sister, and my mother was raising her children. But at this point of period in time, like all of us are adults, and even her grandchildren are becoming adults.
Yes.
So there's really no one in the home. So she moved in. So she was diagnosed with cancer in 2012. And she stayed in the hospital for some time, being treated. She had the cancer removed, and then she was going through radiation. She had like burns on her
from the treatment, yes.
On her chest area. So she was hospitalized for some time. And when she was released from the hospital, and at this time I'm married and I have a child, she moved in with me for a little bit, but then she ultimately went and lived with my sister in her home. And she was there for a while, and she was back and forth between. Now I'm relocated here to San Antonio because I finished my degree program, and I'm working. I'm in my profession and my career.
Okay.
And divorced, so the marriage didn't work. So I'm single, me and my daughter.
How old is your daughter?
Well, she's 13 now, but she was 1 when I moved here. Yes. So the marriage didn't work. I am here along with my child, but she's back and forth, helping me when I have like weekend and evening events at the university or elsewhere. And I think the back and forth got to be too much. And we had to make a decision. And so we all sat down and talked and, decided to relocate her here in 2018.
Okay. All right.
Now she's, I'll say able-bodied, so she can still like cook and drive and clean and care for
that contributes tremendously
herself. Yeah. I just think that there are things that we were doing to support her to take the stress and the worry of like having to pay a mortgage or even taxes, those things off of her plate, so she could focus on, and let me say this because I left this out. She has severe hypertension.
Okay.
She's never had a stroke or anything, but her blood pressure has been, to the point to where, like, they want to put her in the hospital, like admit her in the hospital to bring her pressure down. But she was like, and I don't know how many blood pressure pills she's on currently, but at one point she was on like 7 to 9 different hypertension medications. So all of these things are occurring. And so we want to minimize and reduce the stress and pressures of life, like having to pay a mortgage and car notes and these things. And even just like the everyday stuff, like going to the grocery store and, and I do everything, essentially. I take care of her bills at the first of the month. I grocery shop, and she'll pick up her prescriptions and those things. She goes to her appointments. But like the big stuff, the major stuff, I help her with that. Now she does help me raise my daughter. So we're a multi-generational household. I have my mother and her sister there, and that's a generation. And then me, and then my daughter. And so we're a multi-generational household. And my aunt came to live with me March of last year, March of 25. She was relocated from Richmond, Virginia. That's where she was living, and had lived there for several years. When my cousin, her youngest child, graduated from high school, she went to Virginia Union for college. And you know how we do, like we tend to go where, our people are. So after Katrina, because they were living in New Orleans, after Hurricane Katrina, my aunt Corliss moved to Richmond, and she was staying with Dominique, that's my cousin, for a little while. And then she got her own place. She started working for the American Cancer Society and those folks there, doing, just working and living and continuing to support herself. And at some point in time, after Katrina, she started having seizures. And nobody really knew well, before then, she was diagnosed with Graves' disease, hyperthyroidism that runs in our family. Also, heart disease runs in our family. My mother and her sister, the two older siblings, which are female, they both passed away. One before the age of 40, 39, and then so the oldest child passed away at 39 in like 86 or 87. And then Althea, the second oldest, passed away at 60 on Christmas Day. Wow. So now my mother is the matriarch of the family. So her younger sister was diagnosed with Graves' disease and some other kind of just like chronic illnesses that Black folks grapple with.
Oh, absolutely.
Hypertension, pre-diabetic, then diabetic. My mother's also diabetic. And she started having seizures. And they still don't know what's causing
the primary cause,
the epilepsy.
A lot of contributing factors.
They are just like treating it. So it's gone from like MS to just all kinds of questionable diagnoses. Nonetheless, her son moved her from Richmond to Houston maybe 10 or so years ago, when she started having seizures more frequently and more severely. So like him and my cousin that lives in the DC area, they packed her up. My mother went and helped, and they, rented a U-Haul, put some stuff in storage there, drove across the southern U.S. and moved her into a home, not his home, but a home there in Houston, so she could be closer to him, and he could, kind of monitor her and care for her. And then he was diagnosed with heart disease and had open heart surgery in April of last year. And then that's when she came to move with me in March before his surgery.
When it rains, it pours.
It does, yeah.
Dr. Piper, I'm struck with the tremendous amount of responsibilities that I would believe that's inherent in your role. You talked about mom being a matriarch.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly sounds like you are being trained to take those reins on, and which is not unusual for the African American community. Our greatest attribute is our love and affection for family members,
Mm-hmm.
and extending that family. I had made a comment earlier about family, no matter how defined, and that might include taking a child next door
Mm-hmm.
and integrating that child into the family. I'm nevertheless struck by the tremendous number of inherent responsibilities in caring for two seniors with extended maladies or conditions. Um, Tell us a little bit how you get through a day with those multiplicity of responsibilities. We got a viewing audience out there, and some people
Mm-hmm.
may be experiencing the same thing that you are. What has helped you be successful in getting through those daily routines,
I
Dr.
think a
Piper?
lot of communication, like um, so my mother is totally against family meetings,
Okay.
but we do openly communicate, right?
Okay. All right.
And we let one another know what our schedules are. We let one another know
Okay.
like what major travel or appointments we have coming up. Um, and so I think communication helps
Okay. Absolutely.
get through the day. Of course, prayer.
Okay. Okay.
I am a woman of faith, and so I do my devotion. I try to do it in the
All right.
morning when I wake up.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
not
All
always
right.
successful at that. And in the evenings before I go to bed, I do a lot of reflecting. I used to journal. I don't journal as much now. Now it's
As you
writing
did.
down task
Normal.
lists
Yeah.
of things that I need to do and like checking them off to make sure I don't miss anything. But I used to journal. I don't journal as much anymore, but I still like write things down. I also think like meditating is good. And I don't practice. I used to like try to do yoga. I'm more of a high energy workout
I'm wasting
person.
this time with yoga. I could be doing something here.
Yeah. And so I like high intensity workouts
Okay.
and not so much the meditating with the yoga, but I do find taking time throughout the day for intentional pauses
Mm,
to be helpful.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just kind of give my mind and my body time to rest. And sometimes it's sitting and doing nothing.
Right. The
And other,
silence is
yes.
taking it easy.
And other times, and just depending on what's going on, I try to focus on my breathing and breaths and different things like that. And really be conscious and aware of the changes and the transitions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think I know my aunt had an MRI last week, and she's about to have like where the EEG, I think it's the EEG, like the thing they put on their head to monitor
Oh yes, 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 yes.
her brain, and she has to wear this for an extended period of time. And so there's some like self-consciousness about that. And so we've been getting the room prepared for the equipment to come in and those things. And, like packing up things that's in the room
Yes,
and
yes.
kind of knowing like where to put this or what to do with these
Sure,
things.
sure.
And just like not being overwhelmed
Okay.
by those things. And so those are the things that I've been implementing.
All right. All right.
To stay grounded, to stay focused, to stay as much in control as I can. And I feel like, my life is out of control. I'll say this about my mom, who was supposed to wear a heart monitor like late last year. And she never did. Like, we attempted to put it on and these things, but so instead of her, when it came in the mail, making an appointment with the doctor to have it put on properly.
Adjusted, no.
Yeah, she tried to do it herself, and it didn't work. And so
very
kind
independent
of
woman.
Oh, very. She was telling me I had a colonoscopy this month, and I drove myself. Now, this is after I went for the initial visit, and they said make sure I had someone there to drive me home, that I would not be able to drive. And I drove myself home after I got a colonoscopy. Wow. I was like, how?
Oh, my goodness.
So, I mean, like, that's just her nature, her spirit. So, like, making sure I'm being a voice of reason when we're in an unreasonable situation. Yeah. And, and finding time to, if not go with her to appointments, at least talk to her.
Okay. All right.
Her doctors. The good thing is, like, her cardiologist is in the same building with my primary care physician. And, like, I'll walk over there and have a conversation with her. We don't, like, her primary care, I don't know. I mean, I know who she is and where she's located, but we don't have a relationship.
Sure.
But I do have a relationship with that cardiologist. Yeah.
Well, Dr. Piper, I really appreciate you sharing some of those strategies that you've used. Of course, the African American Network is tremendously concerned that the caregiver himself or herself avails themselves to free time, proper care, because you are essentially the primary one. Our concern is that you continue to get the help and the support that you need. And without that, it diminishes your capacity to be available in these multiple roles. Also, in summation, you are, in fact, a representative sample of the strength, in my opinion, not only in Black women, but the strength of the Black family. And not to take anything away from anyone, but I believe the conditions, those historical circumstances that I mentioned earlier, empower and enable us and make it a necessity. Sometimes we don't have much of a choice, and we're selected, and sometimes we're the only ones around. My feedback with all my caregivers is that the world is how it is, not how we want it to be. And if we're not available, if we don't have the healthy partitions, then we are not able to provide the care that's needed to get them where they need to get for us to strive for life. And you certainly are a representative sample of that strength. And I would be remiss if I didn't, not as a precaution, but to remind you how important your role is in taking care of yourself. And it sounds like you're adapting to that. And as you were saying, Mom was sort of the matriarch. Hello, we have a new one. And I think you have been in training for a long time. And we see that in Black families. And, that girl is going to be so-and-so. That boy is going to end up doing this. And out of that identification, we begin to, see those attributes and direct them in that direction. And it sounds like you have certainly been directed in that direction. I can't think of a better person to have been available to take care of Mom and Auntie. A very unique situation, and yet not so unique. When you do a survey, you find out that the multiple roles in which we play, and we have multiple roles. But the things that you shared with us today, and of course, blessings, and we wish you well in your continual journey in providing the care and remembering, as I said, that you got to take care of yourself too.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have had an opportunity to meet a person that definitely fits the description of super trooper. And Dr. Piper took us on a journey, her own personal life, the road work, She certainly has provided us with some insight and some things that we might be able to incorporate, regardless of your role as a caregiver. And we want you to know that the African American Network is, in fact, duly sworn to provide you with the best information that we can possibly provide you with. And with people such as Dr. Piper coming in and giving their personal viewpoints. And so we want to thank you for tuning in with us, and keep on keeping on, whatever you do. And we love you, and continue to love yourself. We thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Piper.